Welcome back to our journey to the manger. I want you to know that I have been praying for you as you're walking through this journey, that you would meet with God on a personal level as you're watching these videos and reading the Bible and reflecting on these questions. And in the second week, we're going to focus on a different subject. We're going to focus on the journey of searching. All of us are on a journey of searching. We're looking for something. Earlier this year, my son Sammy and we went camping to this place. It's a ghost town in between LA and Las Vegas. And when we got there, I was a little bit mystified. This town, which early in the late 1800s, early 1900s, had been this like booming town, now is completely empty, and it's a travel destination. So you can go there and get a soda, maybe get some candy or some souvenirs, and then leave. Not much there. But this town originally was a place that people had moved to in search of silver. So there was all these silver mines around the town. And overnight in the late 1800s, the price of silver plummeted and pretty much everybody left the town. And what I thought about when I was there is I thought this is really indicative of how a lot of us live our lives. Like we go in search of things when we look, and when we don't get what we want, we find ourselves empty and frustrated, and then we abandon whatever it was that we were going after. And perhaps there are a lot of ghost towns in your life when you reflect. But it's important to wrestle through what is it that I want and what is it that I'm in search of. You see, even in that illustration, there was what they wanted now, but there was something they wanted more or most. And Jesus, one time, when he was starting his ministry, he was approached by his early followers, his disciples. And I want to read this story to you because it's really interesting, the question Jesus asks his disciples before they choose to follow him. Now, they had been following John the Baptist, and John the Baptist was in waiting. He was waiting for the Messiah to come. And when he saw Jesus in John chapter 1, verse 29, he said this, "Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. This is the one I meant when I said, a man who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me. I myself did not know him, but the reason I came baptizing with water was that he might be revealed to Israel." John understood who Jesus was and who Jesus is. And he says this, Jesus was before me. Now, John was born before Jesus. So John certainly was pointing to the fact that Jesus is the eternal God who's come to take away the sins of the world. But the very next day, they come to Jesus. It says John was there again with two of his disciples. This is verse 35 of John 1. And when they saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." And when the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. But then Jesus turned around and he looked at them and asked, "What do you want?" And this question he asks is a really pointed question, like, why are you following me? What do you want? And I believe it's the question that he's asking us today. As we begin this week looking at our personal journey of searching, he's asking you, what do you want? But I'd like for you to wrestle through that in a particular way. I want you to think about, what is it you want now? Maybe there's something you want for Christmas that you've been thinking about. But then let that lead you to the deeper desires, things like peace and joy, purpose, fulfillment. Reflect on those questions, and then we'll come back tomorrow. We'll start looking at the story of the Magi as we continue our journey to the manger focused on the subject of searching.